Today on Email Splat TV, we are going to talk about API and why, as a marketer, you should care. Let's go. As an automation geek and a marketer, the API is an amazing tool. API stands for Application Programming Interface, which is total geek speak for a way for programs to talk to each other. So way back in the old days, before we had this thing called the cloud, we were all working on our laptop, desktop, whatever it was, and we were isolated. Whatever information we had was there, and we couldn't share it with people with other computers. Well, we could. We'd have to do the old, export it as a CSV file, and then we'd have to send them that file, and then they'd have to import the CSV file over there, and then they'd have the information that you had, but hey, now it's 2 days later, 2 hours later, 2 weeks later, whatever it is, and your information doesn't match. And then once again, next week you're going to have to export and send that over there. Well, this was what we used to do in the olden days, way back when. But then we all started working on these platforms that are in the cloud. Right? These live online somewhere, and the beautiful thing about these platforms that we're working with today is that the vast majority of them have an API, which means that I can make that platform talk with another platform that also has an application programming interface, an API. How does this work? Well, basically an API is kind of like a secret door that I've got at my business or my platform, and if somebody else has a secret door, I can send information from one back and forth to the other. And we do this by using some sort of URL, or it depends on the API specifically, but somehow I'm going to take information, I'm going to knock on that door and say, hey, I want to tell you something, and it's going to say, hey, do you know the secret password? And then I'm going to have to do some sort of authentication to say that, hey, I belong here. I have permission to enter this door, and when I do, that door opens, and now I kind of have a back door into that platform. I'm not using the pretty one that I would use as a user if I go to the website and I log in and I see QuickBooks, Ontraport, Infusionsoft, Facebook, Google, whatever the platform is. I'm not going to see all the pretty stuff. I'm going to see just raw code. So I can go in there and I can send some raw code in through that door, and then it's going to answer, and I can bring that code over to a different platform. And again, I'm going to knock on that door and say, hey, they're going to say, hey, do you have permission to enter here? And we're going to do a little authentication back and forth. We're going to have some sort of password or key or ID, whatever the system might be, but it's going to let us in, and we're going to put that information over there. So then I can just take information back and forth between these. So what this means as a marketer, or even just as a business, is that I'm not doing a ton of data entry in all these different platforms. I can get all these different platforms to talk to each other in real time. Just snap, snap, we can send this information from one to the other, so that I can have my information across a lot of different platforms. Plus I can have things happen in different platforms, right? All my automation just doesn't have to live in one platform or the other. I can have things happen based on what happen inside of a different platform. So what are some of these platforms we're talking about? Of course, you can link your CRM with the API. Most CRMs have an open API where I can take information out, put information in. This means I can add contacts via the API. So if I had information somewhere else, I could push it into my CRM. If I had a new contact somewhere, I could push it into my CRM. Plus, I can take information out of my CRM. So if something happened in there, like their information got updated, I could take that and push it to a different platform. And I could push it or pull it from any of these areas: Facebook, Google Ads, Google Sheets, Docs, Files. If I had some sort of membership platform, I could add or remove members. I could do some sort of phone or text system. I could connect my shopping cart. All of these things can connect back and forth, and I can take information, put it from here back to here, or from here over to here. I can connect them all together, which means that I can do some really powerful things like creating spreadsheets in Google of all my customers. I could also connect, other ones, popular ones nowadays, Zoom, Slack. I could take information from my CRM and push it into Slack, or maybe from my shopping cart into Slack. So when a sale is made, that might populate a Slack channel. Or a membership portal, when a question is asked, that might populate a Slack channel. So there's lots of ways that I can push and pull information around to make my life a lot easier. We don't have to export and import all these CSV files anymore. There's very few platforms anymore that do not have an open API that I can tap into and move data around. Now, what do I mean by open API? Open API means that that is available for me to use. It's not closed. It's not just, some systems have an API that only that system can use, only that developer can use. But many times they will open up their API, which means that I'm going to get again, I said some sort of authentication. I'm going to get a ID, a key, a password, whatever it is, that's going to allow me to open up that door using their open API to push and pull information. And again, many of these very popular platforms that you use every single day have all this information, which makes it super, super handy in the world of marketing, sales. Just makes our lives so much easier if we want to update a platform like Pipedrive from our CRM, or we want to update Pipedrive from MailChimp or Constant Contact. We can tie all these things together, and the customer enters their information one time, and we can spread it across 3, 4, 5, 15, 20 different platforms where we need that information duplicated. So that's what an API is. That's how you can use an API, just the quick 30,000 foot view. API is awesome. I use it every single day. And as a marketer, you probably should too. It's going to make your life so much easier. So in the comments below, tell me how you might use an API for yourself. Maybe some ideas that I've sparked here, or maybe how you're using it already. I'd love to hear how everybody's using an API. It's always interesting to me because I've got my few things that I use it for, but I'm sure you have more, and I'd love to hear about it. So comment below. Of course, also subscribe to the channel, because we're always adding new stuff just like this to help you be a better automator marketer. All right, until next week, keep on automating.